In his first 6 years leading Wisconsin, he has tallied 60 wins, 6 bowl appearances, and 2 Big Ten titles. The Badgers return a total of 11 starters this season. Good morning, Coach. If you'd like to start with an opening statement, and then we'll go ahead and take questions.
Absolutely. Thank you. Always great to be back in Chicago. I met with my players a few days ago just about the experience to come here. I came as a player in 1991 and have obviously come back now as my going into my 7th year as a head coach. Just a tremendous opportunity. Very excited to be at Wisconsin this year, coming into an opportunity to be a 3-time defending champion in our conference. Really special season last year. I think one of the great things that probably hasn't got enough publicity was the first inaugural season of a Big Ten championship game, and obviously to be the winning coach was very, very special. But in all my years of coaching, as a player, as an assistant coach, as a coordinator, and as a head coach, that game in particular probably stood out in my mind more than anything else. The way that the Big Ten put on the game leading up to it, the championship game itself, and to play against an opponent with the quality of Michigan State and to earn an opportunity to play in the Rose Bowl is very, very special. So since then, we've turned the page. I brought with me 3 great players. Very fortunate at Wisconsin this year. I think we have 8 players up for 12 to 14 national awards. The 3 guys I brought with us: Mike Taylor, kid from Ashwaubenon, Wisconsin, came to us as a kind of an under-recruited kid. He might have had 2 or 3 offers. Has probably been one of the most premier players in our league. Led the conference a year ago in tackles, and has really, I think, set himself up for a great season. And is up for a couple awards, a lot. I believe the one other, the Buckus Award, and maybe one other. Our other player that has drawn some recognition, Ricky Wagner, will come with us. A neat story about Ricky. Ricky came to us as a 6'5", 235-pound walk-on tight end, and now he's a 6'6", 330-pound Outland Trophy candidate that has been a 3-year starter for us. An incredible kid. A great story because he walked on from the state of Wisconsin and is now achieving at the highest level of success. A lot of people predict him to be a top 10 pick a year from now. I told him when I moved him a year ago, he's got big shoes to fill. Every left tackle that has started for me in my tenure at the University of Wisconsin has won the Outland Trophy and been a first-round draft pick. So he's hopefully going to live up to those same standards. And then, of course, everybody knows he's had a name change, but Monte Ball has come back and been really one of our greatest leaders, not just on the field, but just the way he practices, the way he competes, the highest level that he has set for us in all facets has been truly incredible. And he's going to return as the highest leading vote getter from the Heisman a year ago. And our goal and our intention, obviously, he's going to be up for the Heisman, but I'd love to be a head coach that coaches the Heisman Trophy winner. Our offensive line would love to be an offensive line that blocks for a Heisman Trophy winner, and that says everybody in our program is going to try to help them win that award. So as far as the season and where we're looking to get, we got a great schedule in front of us leading up to our opening game. Have 4 non-conference opponents, and then we jump into our Big Ten schedule that culminates with hopefully an opportunity to play in the Big Ten championship game. So excited about the opportunity and blessed to be here in Chicago. With that, open up any easy questions.
Any questions out there? Go ahead and raise your hand.
All right, we'll get out of here.
Thanks, Coach. See you later.
Right here.
Obviously, Bret, with the 2 games that you guys had last year with Michigan State, pretty impressive games. Would you talk about that burgeoning rivalry, please?
Yeah, well, first it goes back. One of the neat ththings for me going into my 7th year is I've known so many of these coaches. The first year when I came in, I kind of came in like a mouse in the room. I didn't know anybody in there other than Kirk, who I'd worked for. And now I go around the room. I knew Mark D'Antonio when he was an assistant. I actually shared defensive ideas back with him when he was at Ohio State and I was at Kansas State. So a guy that I've known and respected in this business for so long, to have an opportunity to compete with him on such a high level is really, really a neat thing for me at least. And then I think our players just have so much respect for the Michigan State players and the way they compete. They play at such a high level, but also the intensity that they bring, obviously, is second to none. And I think it was really, truly special. I've never had an opportunity to play a rematch game within a conference like we did last year. So that just kind of, I think, builded it, that much more, you know, and it's really something that's emerged really, you know, probably in my time there as a head coach, and it's something that hopefully will continue to grow.
Got a question over there to the right, Coach.
Hey, Bret, Teddy Greenstein.
Yep.
I was going to save this till the end, but now that you're married, you're going to be a smarter coach. How's that going to affect Knicks?
19 weeks and 5 days that we've been into this relationship. It's because I get reminded on a daily basis, not that I knew that stat, but it's been fun for me. You know, I go back to, you know, 7 years ago when I got the job, and everybody's like, wow, you're single, da-da-da-da, and everybody gave me different, you know, pieces of advice, but hopefully it's going to make me a smarter and a wiser and more mature coach.
Yeah, Coach, just wanted to ask about Danny O'Brien, how he's assimilated there with Wisconsin, and how that transition has gone since he's, I assume, been on campus here the last month or two.
You know, fortunate for us, Danny was able to join us in early June. He graduated in 3 years from Maryland, so he was actually there all the way through his spring semester and was able to join us in June. Because of NCAA rules, I really can't be involved in summer workouts, but I know just bumping into Danny and bumping into players that have been around this summer that everybody's been excited about him coming through. I think Danny is first and foremost, he's a great kid. He fit into our program great. Just the way he kind of bonded during the recruiting visit was special to see. And you guys might remember that Russell had a pretty good year a year ago, so I think that kind of played into it as well. But I think that the real upside to Danny's situation is we've also had the emergence of Kurt Phillips come back after his third ACL surgery, and those two have got a nice little competition, and probably again with Joel Stave. So I think competition brings the best out of people, and I know Danny is very excited for the competition to start on the 5th.
Question right here in front.
Yes.
Bret, just wanted to see if we get a reaction from you about the division, not having Ohio State and Penn State this year, what that means for Wisconsin, and how do you view the conference race?
Well, obviously we've known about Ohio State for a while, and it kind of educated our players into that process. One of the big things when we split into 2 divisions a year ago, I made a very conscientious effort as a head coach to explain to our kids, you know, the leaders and the legends divisions, who's in it, and why certain games play up a certain level of competitive nature just to get to where we want to be. I'm not blind and oblivious to the fact that now, you know, we're in a division that has 6 teams, only 4 of them are eligible for the Big Ten championship game, but it really won't change our approach. It's something for the bigger topic to talk about, but you know, everybody's like, Coach, you know, why do you have success? Why have you won 2 championships? The number one thing I believe is of a 1-0 mentality. You take every day for what it is. You know, we're going to take August 5th. We're going to process that day, the first day we're together, move on to August 6th, move on to August 7th. We'll take every day for what it is. Any game that's on our schedule, I will definitely make note of teams that are within our division, but it really doesn't change what we do because we can never skip a step to get where we want to be, which is obviously in Indianapolis at the end of the year.
Okay, let's go down here in front again.
Coach, unfortunate news a few days ago losing Casey Dean for the season. Just wondering what your thoughts are on the right side of your offensive line now.
Yeah, well, the great thing is at the University of Wisconsin, we've probably been able to play offensive line at the highest level possible in the world of college football. And, you know, when some of the guys that have gone now, you know, when Kevin Zeitler played his first game, everybody was worried about who he is and what he was. Gabe Carimi was taken over at the left tackle spot. No one knew who he was because Joe Thomas had manned it for so long, and both of them are first-round draft picks in the NFL. We have guys in our program right now who have never started a game that I believe can play at that level, and we'll just have an opportunity now to put people in place. It'll be a huge challenge for us, I think, to find the 5 right guys, whether they're tackles that can now play guard or guards that now can play tackle. We'll put our 5 best players on the field. They'll be backed up hopefully by our 6th, 7th, and 8th best players, and then we'll roll through the football season. But, you know, I just wish Casey the best and hope that he can get things on track to have a successful life.
Okay, over here to the left.
Coach, a few months ago around signing day, there was the issue about the Big Ten coaches recruiting committed players. Do you believe for this recruiting cycle, has that issue kind of been settled? And do you think that it is still best to kind of have, as people said, that gentleman's kind of agreement that the Big Ten used to have?
Well, I think a great thing that came out of that event was I began to realize that not everybody actually reads and follows every press conference that's read or written. I didn't say anything about a gentleman's agreement. I didn't say anything about coaches recruiting other players. It was just kind of spun into that world. So I've never made a comment about that. I've never referred to it in any way, shape, or form. I think the great thing is, if you look back during my 10 years, 7 years as a football coach, we've had several players that are committed and in our program now that were committed at other schools. So we never refrain from recruiting players that are committed to other places if they want to be recruited. I hope that would never change. And the great thing I think within our conference is, you know, that as this recruiting process plays out year in and year out, coaches are able to kind of just let things happen as they are and realize that every kid is in charge of his own mission to where he gets where he want to be.
Okay, we got a question right here to the right.
Brett, another question about recruiting. Do you have a problem with the concept of schools, of coaches being able to solicit Penn State players right now?
You know, Andy, I think that's a great comment or question. When this thing came about, and obviously very unprecedented situation, of course, when you're sitting at the head table of your staff room and assistant coaches have a lot of different opinions, I made the decision as a head coach that we would not reach out to any Penn State players. It's just something, I think that what Penn State is going through right now is something that they have championed over the last several days and the last several weeks. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Coach O'Brien and everything that he's going forward. I think that one of the things that I've loved and appreciated about being in this conference is there is a genuine respect for everybody in our league that you are a Big Ten brother and you're a guy that sits in our conference meeting rooms. You're a guy that listens to Jim Delaney, and we're a group of coaches that have a network that's you know, beyond anybody's expectations and helping us in recruiting. So, you know, I'm not casting doubt on anybody or questioning anything, but we made a decision that we would not actively pursue any Penn State players. And it wasn't anything more than, I have a group of 105 players that are reporting on August 5th that I want them to understand and believe that I think they can help us win another championship. And to bring someone in at this point, you know, so close to the season, I just wasn't comfortable with. And you know, one of the great things that I saw after this whole thing is broke, I was sitting packing for our trip down here last night, and of course my wife is young, and maybe because we were supposed to leave 3 hours ago, which I'm learning to understand after 19 weeks and 5 days, that you have to do these things. But on the same account, I saw a group of Penn State players walk out of that meeting, you know, their facilities, and address the media and talk strongly, at least that group that was there, about what they're going to do. And you know, for me personally, we play Penn State the last game of the season this year in the regular season. I'm going to be their biggest fan every week of the year for the guys that stay there and stick it through. So my hat's off to Coach and all of his players that are staying strong.
Here we have time for one more question.
What are your thoughts on the 3 new head coaches in the division?
Hey, you know what? It's kind of a neat thing. Obviously, I think back to my first meeting, walking in that door, you know, 7 years ago, and shaking hands with Lloyd Carr and Coach Paterno and Kirk Ferentz and all the coaches that were there at that time, and Jim Tressel and all those. To think now that me and Fitz are number 2 in the league in tenure behind, I'm going to beat up Kirk. He's really getting old now. He's the most tenured coach. But I don't know Bill very well. I've met Urban, you know, on a couple different occasions, had an opportunity to have him on campus, and Coach Beckman I've now met several times. It's something that I'm very excited about. I think it's a neat thing to bring in to our league as a challenge to compete against new schemes and new philosophies and new ideas. Obviously, things change in recruiting that brings new wrinkles to that as well. But I'm a guy that kind of loves change. You know, you kind of throw your arms around it, embrace it, and love it up. So, you know, what they bring, hopefully it's just going to be nothing. I think anything that you can do is to enhance our league. You know, Urban coming with a coach that's won national championships brings value to our league, and his reputation is outstanding. Coach O'Brien, with everything he's been able to accomplish during his coaching career, and Coach Beckman, obviously, anytime you move from a MAC school to a Big Ten school, speaks volumes that they think you can have success as well. So it should be nothing but a positive for our league. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. On Wisconsin.